Hi there. I want to introduce Flow and a system that I built for custom donation receipts for a nonprofit. We'll just start with the flow. So we're going to this is the opportunity object renamed giving. And the first thing, this is kind of the discovery process, was trying to figure out exactly which fields we were going off of. This is the original layout, and it was confusing. Were we going off of acknowledgement date, acknowledgement status, things like this? Or finally, we realized that receipt type is exactly what I realized. Receipt type is exactly what the client wanted. And so we simplified some of these fields and made it simpler for them too, because they were also not exactly clear how they wanted it to work at the beginning. So that took some conversation to refine that business system. And this is what we ended up with. So a much simpler system. Got rid of the acknowledgement fields and some of the other fields that didn't make sense. There was a misspelling issue. And put in some help text. Let's see. Put in help text for receipted. And we also put it in a validation rule for the receipt date. So if this is set to yes, then we must have the receipt date set. So I'll demonstrate that in a second. So if we just we'll just put in a test here. And so this goes off a primary campaign source. So the goal was to make it so that we could go off of a custom, depending on the campaign source, they would get a different email response. And let's set the close date to today. Stage has to be posted. So that's an entry condition, is that the stage is, it's posted. And the other entry condition is that it is not receipted. I'll go check. And receipt type, it doesn't matter if it's not set to none, then it's automatically a letter. So they get reminded to print a letter via the print system that I set up in the second part of this second part of the requirement that I introduced there. And but for our purposes, let's set it to email and letter both. That's kind of the most complicated situation. And we'll hit save. Oh, need to put in an amount. Great. And so now we've seen this, and so now we can see the org-wide default sent an email to the test user, and we should be able to see that over here. We're going to see, thank you for Friends of the River. So there's the email that we set up. Says thank you. And then we also have a reminder to go and print. So we'll see that in the second video. And so we can see how this has worked in the flow. Let's go ahead and debug it with that giving record. So we can see what happened is the entry conditions were met. It goes down, and because there's an email, because it's email and letter, we get the email thank you. So we pull the records because it is that fits in the specific campaign category. It goes this way for the custom letter. There's also just a default letter if it's not one of these specific campaigns. And it doesn't fire the fault path because the primary contact has a valid email or has an email entered. And then it goes down. It does not set the receipted status because it requires a printed letter before you can set it as completely receipted. But it does also send this reminder to print the letter. So the next thing that someone would do would be to go in to Simple PDF print based off of this sort of email recommendation. And once they've printed the letter, then they can go and update the receipt field. And we can go, let's do that right now. Let's see what happens if we go update the receipt field to yes. Well, let's try and save it. Oh, so it says please enter the receipt date. So it reminds us that we have to enter the receipt date today, and then we can hit save. And we've done our job. Now, the way that works would be, of course, that we would actually have to go in and select the letter that we're going to print. So we would have to print this letter here. And we're going to go ahead and just print that quite straight from the screen, print it, mail it, and then is when we would come in and do the receipt. So we can see here it says receipted. So it's defaults to no. And then once you actually send the letter, that's when you manually update it. I think that's all I wanted to share on this one. And thanks for watching. Oh, the other tricky thing was I had to find some Apex code. The original system was hard-coded, and it only sent one letter. It wasn't a custom letter. And so it took a little bit of time to kind of figure that out and figure out how to turn that off. But we succeeded in doing that. All right. Thanks.